Stevens over here at Mortgage Shots of the National Real Estate Post. Listen, non-QM, we talk about this all the time. My friends over at Oaktree, you got to go non-QM for a whole bunch of reasons, not the least of which is you're not going to necessarily be under the jurisdiction of some of the regulators that we have as you are on your Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie loans. And I say that for a couple of reasons. First of all, mortgage delinquencies are rising, and that ain't good. It's fantastic. Listen, I was just confronted on a commercial deal with a person that was all too willing to fudge a rental agreement. Yeah, bring it in too high. I gotta tell you, I was shocked. Honestly, I was dumbfounded. I was at a loss for words, you might say. So I wonder if we're getting to the point to where desperation with many is starting to look like a pretty darn good idea. You know, way to get that check in, especially with Christmas right around the corner. Here's the deal. There's not a deal that's going to make your career, but there is one that will end your career and possibly land your ass in jail or with fines that you simply can't afford, along with a permanent loss of your license. The deal with a little tiny fudge on a loan application. As regulators like to call this fraud. Now, I say this because if foreclosures are on the rise, that means audits are rising as well. You see, a loan of yours that gets foreclosed on for any reason isn't just going to be scrutinized for minor material defects to trigger a buyback, but they're also going to be looking for fraud. It'll always go up when production goes down. It's because they're looking at more loans. See, those examinations are going up, so for the love of all that is good for you, stay in your lane with your business and write clean freaking loans. Seriously, just look at what Rocket's going through right now. They're suing HUD, saying that they're not responsible for the value that an appraisal brought a property in at. It is right. That's the reason for HVCC, the Home Valuation Code of Conduct, and the subsequent rise of the dreaded AMCs. It was to assure appraiser independence, put forth by the same said regulators who are going to be auditing your files. Problem solved? Well, not even close. In case of the Rocket lawsuit against HUD, the lawsuit was filed last Wednesday in the U.S. District Court in Colorado, accusing HUD of heaping misplaced blame on Rocket Mortgage after a black woman in Colorado accused a white appraiser of bringing the appraisal in low. I mean, seriously, here's the question. How is that Rocket's problem? Give me one good reason. Now, some of you are going to say that she previously had an appraisal in the 8s and this one came in the 6s, so there was a bias. And I gotta tell you, there very well could have been a bias. Could have been. I don't know. But that's not Rocket's fault. Appraiser independence, HVCC, and AMCs. Right? To this point, Rocket Mortgage said that it should not have been included in the Justice Department's lawsuit because government regulations blocked the company from exerting any control over appraisal values. And they're right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was just a crappy appraisal. What do you think? Maybe the last appraisal was crappy. Or maybe HVCC and the subsequent AMCs is just a crappy policy. But it's not the point. The point to you is your files are now under scrutiny like they've never been before. Regulators hold your role as a mortgage company and your job as a mortgage loan officer with extreme contempt. At least that's my opinion and what I've seen for nearly 20 years. So whenever they get a chance to take you to the woodshed and beat you senseless, from my perspective, they're going to do it and they like it. How else do you explain the ridiculous lawsuits that we've seen for over a decade now? That's what I've seen. I mean, ridiculous lawsuit after lawsuit. Back to the story at hand. According to Housing Wire, we have more foreclosures, which means more scrutiny on you. After hitting a historic low point in 2023, mortgage delinquency rates have been climbing rapidly in recent quarters, particularly with the FHA, the Federal Housing Administration portfolio of loans. The shift is being driven by a combination of factors. Now, listen up. These factors include microeconomics, like the inflation that we're feeling and how expensive everything's gotten, the impact of natural disasters, which seem to be on a rise, and rising property insurance premiums, and man, have they gone up, along with taxes. See, certain borrower groups are especially vulnerable, including those with lower credit scores. I said this a couple of weeks ago, get rid of the low credit scores, there's no appetite for them. Also, high debt-to-income ratios, we're going to see those come down, and those who opt for more affordable loan products. Right, down payment assistance programs. Similarly, some borrowers who transition from COVID-19 forbearance plans into workout options are now experiencing renewed financial strains as they renegotiate terms with their servicers. Again, not a good sign for them, but a great opportunity for us loan officers and real estate agents who need to lend other people's money. Now, despite the uptick, economists caution against alarming right now. There's nothing going on over here. While delinquency rates have increased, they remain relatively low by historic standards. And they're Current deterioration could pose challenges for some investors and servicers and will warrant close attention, according to a whole bunch of industry experts. Now, these factors that have aided in the deterioration of everyone's MBS portfolios don't have any quick, easy solutions in sight. And if property values start to move down, it could exacerbate this situation significantly. So as a loan officer at a mortgage company, make sure that we're writing cleaner loans. If we see our underwriting guidelines start to tighten up, don't trip on it. That's what happens when markets start to contract. And I think a contraction is kind of what we're looking at right now. At least to bring values down to where more people can buy. Inflation's been kicking our ass. And I got to tell you, unless we start building more houses, this thing is going to continue to deteriorate. I hope this helps. And remember, what's hard for you is killing your competition, so stick with it. You got what it takes, my friend. You got what it takes, Rock, to go out there and just beat this market. I hope this helps.